Heart Eyes is a slasher movie directed by Josh Rubin. It is written by Philip Murphy, Christopher Landon, and Michael Kennedy. If you're unfamiliar with those names, Michael Kennedy wrote the amazing slasher movie Freaky, directed by Christopher Landon, who also directed Happy Death Day. And Michael Kennedy also wrote, he does gay slasher horror, so he also did It's a Wonderful Knife, which was okay, and The Less Good Time Cut on Netflix. So this one, however, is a triumph. Heart Eyes is about H.E.K., Heck, the Heart Eyes Killer, a masked hulking maniac who kills couples on Valentine's Day. So he's already done a massacre in 2 other cities 2 years in a row, and for his 3rd year he is in Seattle. So he's killed a couple at a vineyard in the film's opening, and it's sort of the concept, and then we sort of get a chunk of rom-com stuff, which kind of slows down the pacing of the movie. We're focusing on Allie. She's an advertising person who is going to get her ass raked over the coals because of a terrible ad campaign around this time. However, Jay Simmons is a hotshot freelancer who's in for a night. He's supposed to help the team come up with a new pitch deck. So he sort of likes her and asks her for dinner, work dinner, but he's trying to like fish for like, you know, romance, but she's not into it. So she kind of, you know, spurns him a little bit, and they get caught fighting outside of the restaurant where the Heart Eyes Killer sees them, thinks they're a couple, and tries to kill them. That's sort of the concept of the movie. And this movie has everything. It's really good. It's got some vicious gore, good set pieces and suspense, pitch black humor, rom-com conventions turned on their head because they're not really a couple, and they're not. And so there's a couple points where Allie kind of makes a mistake while they're fighting, or they ditch each other in the middle of the fight. They're supposed to be working together, but there's some great banter. There's a great argument scene in front of some detectives. There's also a couple. The Devon Sawa and Jordana Brewster are solid as these bumbling detectives trying to catch the killer. And there's a lot of stuff going on in this movie that really works. A really fine line between comedy and horror. This movie's directed by Josh Rubin. If you're unfamiliar, he worked on a lot of college humor shorts, sketches, comedy stuff. He had his own little mini segment. He also directed Werewolves Within, which is a really fun kind of like more of a comedy than a horror. But he also directed Scare Me with Aya Cash. That one he directed and wrote. But that one was just okay because it's more of a 2-person film. This one he doesn't write, but he directs it with a lot of panache. There's the scenes are funny when they need to be, but there's also really snappy and gory when it needs to be. Good set pieces and thrills. They never step on each other's toes. There's never like a scene where someone's riffing or trying to say a one-liner or a quip when they're getting gutted. And there's the serious scenes are not comedic too much, and the comedy sequences aren't interrupted too much by the horror. Great chemistry from the leads as well. Mason Gooding is a veteran from the Scream films, so he's not a stranger to slashers. Same for Olivia Holt. I didn't recognize her at first, but she plays young Pam in Totally Killer. So the two of them have a lot of chemistry, and they act very well, and they know what to do in this movie. The film is really well balanced, a really hard line between rom-com sort of comedy and violent slasher, but they managed to meld the two really well together. The movie has the whole package. If there's anything I didn't like, the movie's a little bit light on theme. The beginning of the film, the killer goes after some influencers, so they kind of dig at and jab at the vapidness of certain couples, but they don't really explore that aspect too much in terms of theme. Also, they touch upon incel culture or fetish culture because they're trying to figure out what the killer's after, but they don't really go after these two sort of themes very much throughout the film. It's more of a meat and potatoes, slashers trying to kill this couple, they have survived the night kind of thing. So there's some great violence too, really well done. This movie definitely has it going. So I give Heart Eyes a 7.5 out of 10.